Thank you very much for joining us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now. I'm Heena Gambhir. Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, during her budget presentation today, said that any income from virtual digital assets shall be taxed at the rate of 30%. Now, this is the highest tax bracket that we have. Plus, there's going to be 1% TDS or tax deducted at source that will apply to transactions in such asset classes. The NDA government officially hadn't said anything so far on whether crypto will be banned or regulated in India. The bill is yet to come out. But ahead of that, the statement by Finance Minister has brought some clarity for around 15 to 20 million crypto investors in India with crypto holdings of about 40,000 crore rupees. Now, this data is as per some industry estimates. Now, separately, she also mentioned that RBI will be launching a digital currency, digital rupee based on blockchain technology in 2022-23. That will be a currency and rest will be treated as assets. So on Urban Debate tonight, we will try to decode FM's statement on crypto today and whether this means that crypto is now legal in India. Is this an indication that government is not looking to ban it for sure and regulation is on the way? But before that, let's hear what exactly the Finance Minister had to say during her press conference after the budget presentation in Parliament, because there we got more clarity and how the opposition reacted to it.
The Reserve Bank will be issuing a digital currency. Currency becomes a currency is a currency only when it is issued by the central bank, even if it's a crypto. But anything which is outside of that, loosely all of us refer it to be cryptocurrency. They are not currencies. So let's first understand we are not taxing currency that is yet to be issued, and that provision is now made, and the currency in the name of digital rupee will be issued. Exact name you'll get a bit later, but Reserve Bank is the one which is going to issue it, and what Reserve Bank issues is the digital currency. Everything that prevails outside of it in the name of digital whatever are assets being created by individuals, and in transacting that asset, if there are profits being made, we are taxing that profit at 30%.
That's obviously at the behest of the very rich people in this country. A crypto digital asset is crypto. They've invented the word digital asset. What is a digital asset? It's only cryptocurrency. Now, by a sleight of hand, instead of RBI announcing it, the finance ministers virtually announced that cryptocurrency is legal from today. RBI has not announced it yet, and cryptocurrency will be issued by the RBI. And digital asset, transfer of digital asset will be taxed at a particular rate, is what she said. Now, all this is clearly not of any benefit to, say, 99.9% of the people of India. This budget, which talks about digital asset, does it make any sense to 99.9% people of India?
And joining us on the broadcast right now is Nischal Shetty, founder, CEO, Wazir X. We have Advocate Dr. Prashant Mali, cyber and privacy lawyer. Ajeet Khurana, founder, Stealth Mode Crypto Startup. We are also joined by Ajay Rotti, who is partner, Dhruva Advisors. Good evening to all of you. Thank you very much for joining us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now this evening. Nischal Shetty, I want to begin the discussion with you. Simple question. Going by what the finance minister said today, are we then given to believe that crypto probably is going to be regulated instead of being banned in India?
There's no probability right now. The government has, come up with a tax clarity for crypto. So we've gone from will there be a ban or a regulation to when will there be regulations for the sector. And irrespective of that, I think the biggest factor from today's announcement is that a lot of people have been sitting on the sidelines because of this huge uncertainty regarding this sector in India, and they're now going to get that much needed confidence to get involved in digital assets. A lot of corporates have been sitting on the sidelines. If you look at the other corporates in the US, for example, they've been buying crypto. Tesla has over $1 billion in Bitcoin on its balance sheet. And I think corporates in India want to emulate that. And now they get that much needed confidence from this announcement of taxing crypto profits.
Okay. Ajay Rotti, what is your assessment of what the finance minister said today in the parliament and later a clarification that came? Is crypto now legal in India? Because whatever you earn from crypto while trading in crypto, that amount will be taxed.
So, firstly, if we just take a step back, at this point, is crypto illegal in India? It is not, because RBI tried to ban it and then the court struck it down. RBI has expressed certain concerns about cryptocurrencies. But at this point, there's no law which bars crypto. But having said that, I don't think we should be reading too much into the provisions which are proposing to tax cryptos, for the simple reason that legality of a transaction and taxation of that are two different things. And this has been so for a long time now. Courts have consistently held that you could have income or earn from an illegal activity which would still be taxable. So the fact that you are paying tax on it doesn't legalize anything which otherwise would be illegal. So therefore, those are two different things. But at this point, there is no ban in place. So it doesn't change much. And I personally would sort of caution people against reading too much into what's there in the tax laws, firstly. Second, the tax laws today, what they have proposed is very wide. They have defined a different class of asset called the virtual digital asset, which includes NFTs, which includes other tokens, and a cryptocurrency could get covered by that. But the government also has powers to notify other assets or take out certain assets from this. So we'll have to see how that will play out. And I don't think we should read too much into legalizing of cryptocurrency with a taxation provision.
Okay. Ajeet Khurana, what is your opinion? How should we read the statement of the finance minister today? Is crypto now legal in India, or will you be a little cautious before saying that?
No, very simply, if I don't know if there is three classifications of legal, illegal, and something in between, but it was never, ever illegal. As in, even the RBI circular was around a banking transaction which was applicable to banks, not to residents. Having said that, I think that what Ajay and Nischal said, while it seems like they were opposite, actually, I think they're both right at the same time. Ajay is technically right. The fact that it is taxed does not automatically lead it to being legal. However, and this is why people in the crypto world are celebrating, that the fact that the government has taken a first regulatory step, they have put in the effort of defining the asset and also certain other provisions which are very crypto specific, looks like to the industry as a first step on an ever-evolving journey of crypto regulation.
Okay. But then Advocate Prashant Mali, I still am not able to understand that if there is no clarity on what is going to happen as far as cryptos in India are concerned, then how can we put a tax on it, on the gains from it?
This is the fun. This is what leapfrogging is meant in technology. When there is lawlessness or there is confusion in the law, the technology-based digital assets or any technology-based organization or money-making capitalistic organizations prosper. This has created, I feel, this has created more confusion than, stopping the debate in our country whether cryptocurrency is legal or illegal. See, only taxing is not making it legal. Only taxing makes the the government's income increase. Government will get more taxes. Government is happy, but what happens to crypto investor? What happens to the stakeholders of crypto? We are still in that part. We are lawless. Where does a person who is facing a fraud in crypto will go? What is the law about it? We are not clear about it. How is it going to be regulated? It's not clear. It's half-hearted approach to collect taxes, and which is not completely in favor of the general common man, common crypto investor. And still we need some clarity on it, because we are even our police is not ready. When you confiscate some crypto asset, police doesn't have a crypto wallet, official crypto wallet issued by Ministry of Home Affairs. Courts don't have crypto wallets to keep the confiscated asset. So how do we decide on it? So grievance handling mechanism is not there in our country, and in this stage you are not instilling confidence. You are just trying to collect tax. So it is only one-sided of one-sided of virtual digital asset. Using cryptocurrency word is actually wrong because it's not used in the word cryptocurrency is barred. Honorable FM didn't use this word at all. So again, it boils down to some kind of assets, not cryptocurrency. The word cryptocurrency is still, I feel, even if it is traded well in India, it is still not in the books of government.
Okay. Ajeet Khurana, for the benefit of our viewers, could you also help us understand, this difference between seeing crypto as an asset class and calling it cryptocurrency? I mean, if indeed it is not a currency, as the finance minister herself clarified it today, that, a currency is only issued by RBI and anything and everything else will be an asset. So could you just simplify it for our viewers? What does it really mean and why do we really call it cryptocurrency?
Correct. So the thing is that according to the government, the view is that all the laws related to money, and there are two main acts other than the RBI Act which govern it, decide how payments work. So you buy something on Amazon, you pay salaries, receive payments, etc. So they want that to be the role of the currency, not of some other asset. Like theoretically, I can pay my workers with gold rings, right? As in, that's not breaking the law. I would be giving them an asset instead of money. What they are trying to do is they are saying, fine, you guys want to have your own crypto asset, go ahead, pay me the tax if you make a profit. But this is not money, because money governs several aspects. There is the Negotiable Instrument Act, there are banks, there are financial institutions who get licenses. The government is saying, hold on a second, none of this comes under that, right? So you are dealing with gold, diamond, wood, and cryptocurrency, these crypto assets, digital virtual assets. That is it. However, the implication, what is the implication? There might be certain taxation implications, GST implications which have not been addressed in this budget. And finally, also the issue around the fact that tomorrow, if you start trading in it, not just for the purpose of speculative gains, but for the purpose of buying and selling things, the government is very strictly against that because they have repeatedly said that would undermine the sovereign currency.
Okay. Now, Nischal Shetty, all this is happening when we do not even know, a lot about this crypto world. Not just across the world, but in India too, that exists, because there is an industry estimate that suggests that there are about 15 to 20 million odd crypto investors. And there are some, these people probably have invested about 40,000 odd crore rupees. Do we know exactly how many people are there and how will this system really work? Because government also suggested that it is monitoring every transaction. So it knows, and that's the reason why this 1% TDS clause has been added too.
Yeah, I think, look, there's no official number as such on how many people are into crypto in India, but the 15 to 20 million is a good guesstimate based on, numbers that, like, for example, we as an exchange have, the other Indian exchanges have it. Based on that, it's a conservative estimate. It's going to be probably more than that. But having said that, I think this move by the government is going to bring in so much more clarity, where hopefully we'll also have official numbers on the number of, because of these this taxation, we'll know how many people actually sort of made a profit on crypto, what is going to be the quantum of that profit. So all of this data is going to now come in. And before that, I think last year there was this also for companies under MCA, they had to report any crypto holdings. So from the corporate side also, there's been data that is reaching the government. So if you look at what the Indian government is doing, which is a very smart thing, which is to work towards collecting as much of information and data around this sector while the sector evolves and grows, and not rush into coming up with any harsh or an incorrect regulation for this sector. And I think that's a really smart approach. And very soon we'll have more clarity. But otherwise, the 15 to 20 million number is really, I would say it's more on the conservative side. There are more people in India in this sector, and it's growing rapidly.
Okay. Ajay Rotti, then how will the government really identify the people who are making money when there's no clear database in place about crypto world that exists in the country?
So, that's really the reason, why they have introduced both these provisions together, bringing in a definition for a virtual digital asset and also imposing a TDS obligation. Now, TDS, which is tax deducted at source, actually has always plays two roles for the government. One is it helps the government garner revenue as the transactions are happening, so they don't need to wait for things to get completed end of the year. They have revenues during the year, therefore there is a TDS. The second and equally important, or rather more important purpose that TDS serves is really the data gathering. Today, at the moment there is a TDS, there's a requirement for person deducting tax to furnish that data. And you cannot do TDS without having a permanent account number of the deductor and the deductee. Therefore, all of those come in. And these transactions then start getting reflected in the TDS data of the person who's trading in cryptos. And please remember, this TDS is applicable on the gross value of the transaction, not on income. Therefore, the government gets data of every transaction and not just income. You need to remember that crypto trading and people earning money has been happening for a few years now. So because they're bringing this provision in from 1st April 22, which is from the next financial year, that doesn't mean people who made gains in the last 3-4 years are not taxable. What the government will do is bring them to tax under the existing framework. Where they are struggling is to get the data, like you rightly said. They don't have the data today because it's not in one place. So they're bringing in a taxing provision together with a TDS provision along with that. Therefore, they will get the data also. I think it's a very well thought out move. Their policy on crypto may still be open, but from a tax perspective, these two go very well, and they've thought through this before introducing both these provisions.
Interesting. So, Ajeet Khurana, now Ajay Rotti is of the view that this move to impose 1% TDS is going to help the government in also gathering the data about crypto investors in the country. Very interesting. But I want you to address the issue of investor protection as well that was raised by Advocate Prashant Mali. What happens to the investors tomorrow if they lose money? If it is going to be considered as an asset class, which the finance minister did mention during her press conference, then what happens if an investor loses money? Where should that investor really go?
So first, I'll tell you that if you look at such questions being answered all over the world, most of the largest economies, Australia, Canada, England, America, to some extent Singapore, the approach they have taken to answer this question is that they take their existing laws and read them to also include cryptocurrency, as opposed to come up with a new set of cryptocurrency law. To answer it in the Indian context, the Consumer Protection Act does not say that I will protect you for other parts of being a consumer, but not if you're a crypto consumer. So the Consumer Protection Act holds, the Criminal Procedure Act holds, you can do a lot of the use the existing laws for consumer protection. However, there are certain unique characteristics of cryptocurrency, right? And those will need to be incorporated in the existing legislation to bring them up to date to deal with cryptocurrency.
Okay. Advocate Prashant Mali, are you satisfied with the response of Mr. Ajeet Khurana on the issue of investor protection? Because that was a concern that you raised and something that many investors are also talking about, with the government coming out with, this new tax on crypto gains.
We all are aware how Consumer Protection Act behaves in our country, and how much it was able to give justice to Indian citizens. Now we have gone a little ahead. Consumer protection, normally consumer cases are of very small amount and very small things, not a huge things about when the person has invested his whole savings from which he has earned out of his retirement or selling some assets. This is complete out-and-out business. I would be happy if, since one of our speakers said how other countries are managing, it could have been this cryptocurrency could be regulated by SEBI. Make it an asset class, give it to a regulator, and then regulator takes it over from there. If this was also announced in this budget, I think this would have solved so many problems of investors who are investing. See, half-hearted approach, like you asked in MCA, that you declare crypto assets, you gather tax, but then the whole of the Indian citizens who are actually the end users there, they are still in lurch. If you have done something called as ODR, online dispute resolution, make this compulsory to all crypto exchanges. Let them have online dispute resolution, so it could be self-governed or following of rules and helping out the investors would be a great decision for a country like India. But I don't see that without regulation, we could fix all this which is happening. Till then, the market remains risky for non-understanding kind of crypto investors.
Okay. Nischal Shetty, while this is being welcomed by the crypto investors in the country, the big announcement by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, because some clarity clearly has come in, but there still can be an 8th November 2016 kind of a moment for crypto as well. Is that so? Or you think that now at least there's clarity that it will not be banned for sure? Because if the government was thinking of banning it, then it wouldn't have really come out with a provision to impose about a 30% tax on the gains from it.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to ban it, you just go ahead and ban it. You wouldn't put efforts into understanding the sector, understanding the markets. You wouldn't do all of these things. And, like I said, I think regulation is not really a straightforward approach in this sector because it's a very fast evolving market. For example, if India came up with the crypto regulation 3 years ago, today we would be figuring out what to do with NFTs, which have just emerged in the last 1.5, 2 years. So there is a lot more to, now there is talk about Web3, where new companies are being built with a very different perspective on how internet itself should operate. So I think coming up with regulations in a hurry will actually be detrimental. And I don't think India wants to let go of this technology because it's a simple thing. If India bans it, there are so many more countries out there which are going to grab this opportunity and eat into this $1 trillion market that is being created. So in India's best interest, it is to be in this sector because it's a technological innovation. There are so many large companies around the world getting into crypto. There are so many large funds being created for crypto. Governments are around the world are not banning it. They're trying to figure out how to regulate it. So we should learn from our peers and other countries around the world and stay in that race and keep evolving this sector. But at the same time, we have to make sure that all the things that we're talking about, investor protection, making sure that KYCs are applied where they can, AML laws, dispute resolutions. I think all of these definitely have to come in. As an industry, what we've done is we have a self-regulatory code of conduct where many of these things have been taken care of. For example, every exchange in India today, who's part of this self-regulatory code of conduct, ensures that we apply KYC, AML policies, and we do all the necessary checks and balances in place. So I think, the industry is evolving, and we are going to make sure that we build a clean ecosystem. So when the laws and regulations come, the government does not have to worry about putting out fires, but instead it can take this framework that we have in place and maybe apply that as the next law for the sector.
Okay. Ajeet Khurana, are you also of the view that probably it's not going to be banned for sure? That's the indication that has come, and there's not going to be an 8th November kind of a moment, at least for crypto assets in India?
So, I'm definitely of that opinion. I think that there were opportunities to ban it probably way back. I have, by the way, worked with the finance ministry under 2 finance ministers, though not the present one, and we have gone through the cycle. The bill that was authored for criminalizing, not just banning, criminalizing Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, drafted in Feb 18, which was then Feb 19 and made public in August 19. I had faced that interministerial committee also. I feel those days are in the past. Yes, harsh regulation, baby steps, 3 steps forward, 2 steps backward, all of that is going to happen. But the journey towards regulation has started.
What is your view, Ajay Rotti?
You know, I would agree with that, and I think we would look at government regulating this more. And I'll take you back to what the principal economic advisor said yesterday, that you know, different ministries, different departments are looking at it, and what the government's thinking on this is evolving. I think today we know where the finance ministry stands. And I think the next thing will be GST on this, and that can't happen at the budget today because it is to come through the council, and I think that's something that we will see. My view is it's too early today for us to say that it's all, you know, sort of legalized today at this point because it's come in the budget. I think the tax policy is clear. The TDS, maybe the government will collect more data.
You know why we specifically raise this issue, Ajay Rotti? You know why we specifically raise this issue today? Because, you know, there are other activities as well which are not legal in India, but the government doesn't earn any money from there. Government has not imposed any kind of income tax on what you earn from gambling. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. That's not there, though it's technically taxable. I think the way I'm looking at it is at least they've started taking steps to start considering it. I think we've moved quite a bit in that sense. The point I'm making is we've not reached anywhere at this point just because of this announcement. I think the government will consider, maybe they'll have more data with all of the TDS data that comes in to make a more informed decision, to know where the money is actually going, what are the kind of things. Because you need to remember, one of the concerns that the government has is use of the crypto money, and you know, whether they are able to track it and illegal activities, funding, etc. Maybe they get a better sense that, you know, 80%, 90% of the data are actually available, and it's investors who have money can be traced, etc. Who knows? This will maybe lead to a situation where they may decide not to ban it. The point I'm making is this is the first step. We need to look at it only as that rather than having reached the destination of legalizing this.
Okay. Advocate Prashant Mali, then the question is that why is the government taking so much of time in coming out with a proper bill in this particular regard and, you know, end the uncertainty? Because I remember it all started from the budget session last year. We were waiting for the bill on crypto, you know, in the budget session. Then it got delayed to winter session. Now we are in the budget session of 2022. Yet we don't know whether it's going to be coming this time or not.
This probably crash of ideologies and crash of policies of different thought processes which goes in the government. And this may be today's decision may be the ultimate pressure where the crypto lobby or the people interested in crypto investments have won. And I think today is a good day for government. Today is a good date for getting revenue. Today is a good date for people who are investing, you know, who actually understand how tax things and go. But today is also a bad day for people who, you know, fraudsters. Good day for fraudsters, you know, who make schemes around cryptocurrency, which are like MLM frauds and, you know, frauds within the name of cryptocurrency. And now is the chance where government, this fraud cryptocurrency makers will come out with their own cryptocurrency and start defrauding. So a lot of consumer education, lot of investor education is required. Government could have should levy some amount of money which is going to collect out of tax towards this investor education. You know, what is fraud, what is not fraud. So this banning of non-compliant cryptocurrency, you know, which is only used for fraud methods or used for MLM kind of schemes, even where rural investors, you know, rural people, uneducated people get trapped into it. And now apps would also come up around this cryptocurrency, which will try to defraud. So all this should be at large level. Some control needs to be established. So the common man, the last person who just imagines cryptocurrency as legal ho gaya kind of things, you know, these, so they should be made aware where to invest, how to invest, and what happens if you get defrauded. So this is a lacuna which government needs to address, finance minister needs to address, and needs to allocate some money from the tax they are getting towards investor awareness programs.
Okay, interesting comments there. Let's also welcome Dr. Aruna Sharma, former member Digitization Committee, RBI. joining us on the broadcast on this particular discussion about the future of cryptos in India. Dr. Aruna, thank you very much for joining us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now this evening. I want to seek your view on the big announcement by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman today on crypto. How should we see that statement? Does it mean that crypto is now legal in India? It's not a currency for sure, it's an asset. Is it legal in India now?
Well, it becomes legal in India after crypto gets its act. But what has been made very clear, it is not banned, right? So what the today's budget made it the distinction between the digital currency by bringing an amendment in the RBI Act, which enables RBI to come up with the digital currency. And making a digital currency path is also a long, it is not something which can happen overnight. And that is something which will be a legal tender. The crypto is recognized as separate from that legal tender, and that recognition has come up very crystal clear in today's budget. But then what is worrying is the kind of taxation that has been talked about with the crypto, right? Because if you look at the crypto, they have said a flat tax on gain is 30%. Now, if crypto is going to be treated as an asset, then any stock on capital gain maximum you pay is 15%, 1/5. And there are a number of ways you can escape from that route. You know, you can avoid capital gain on stocks if you buy your tax bracket, number one. Then tax loss harvesting mechanism is there. You donate the tax to the charity. But here you say even if it's you gift crypto, there is a problem. And I was amazed to know that some of the private companies are paying to the service providers in crypto. So when they encash their crypto, do you mean to say that we are going to tax them 30%? Now, these are some of the things which will need to be cleared, because that is something will need a much more clarity when we are going ahead with it. Because a crypto gain, if we treat crypto as an asset, it has to be on par with any other asset that we do in a country, because product-based taxation is not there. Taxation is income-based, right? So whether you gain
but ma'am, is it the right thing to do when we do not even know how many investors are there in the crypto world in India? What kind of investment has been made already in crypto ecosystem? Is it the right thing to do? Isn't it too early then to start putting tax on crypto gains?
Okay, let me put it this way. Will taxation help you in any way? No. What is needed is, and which I think crypto agencies are doing, to have an SRO of them, have a KYC of the investors, have a mechanism for the reporting of the kind of investment that is going in. Through their exchanges have to be registered. So all that will come the moment you come to a regulator. So if you are not coming to a regulator, then it will be through SRO. But taxation is not going to help, because if you look at the ticket size, it ranges from 5,000 to 50,000 rupees. Now, and it is widespread, penetrated into interior area. What is important is all these crypto exchanges have to give a right kind of an education, right information, which has been talked about, that advertisement standard norms have to be followed, that you have to tell them it is speculative, you have to tell them it is an asset, you have to tell them this is how it will be taxed in case you encash your crypto investments. So with that knowledge, this kind of an investment is happening, and happening in a big way. So it is very important that 30% taxation, what you are saying, it will be discouraging people from putting the money in the crypto. And then what is going to happen? You will have a crypto which is offshore, which is not within the geographical boundaries of India, because it is a digital mode of doing it, and that is something is to be avoided. Because I'm quite concerned about the clarification of the FEMA, which will come when a crypto investor passes on its investment from peer to peer across the geographical boundaries of India. So therefore, it is very important that taxation is not the way to know of what is the level of investment which is going in crypto. I don't think so you will get that figure.
Maybe you believe the government should have come out with a bill first and then looked at taxing, imposing a tax of this kind on the gains that people are making via trading in crypto assets?
No, because for the simple reason, this bill will follow after the clarity of the digital currency, right? So once that enactment comes, a parallel exercise will have to be done with crypto, which has to be in sync of what is happening across the globe. Across the globe, so taxation, in a way, we have recognized that crypto is an asset. So moment it is asset, instead of putting some figure of 30%, it should have been equated with an asset of stock holding or any of the securities that you are going for. That would have made the understanding much simpler, would have created this asset on par, and then you control the assets so that regulations can be formulated over a period of time when more and more clarity comes into it. Because this is what is very, very important. So in a sense, regulation is a time-taking factor. It will take a little more time, little more discussions. You have to see across the globe, what are the practices of taxation. And there is no taxation which is more than 10 to 15%. The capital gain in US is in that range. That is how it is operating. So, it is something, my fear is that this should not make it underground, or which will become only an investment, no encashment. And it will become like a long-term investments. And that is something I don't know, like if there are fly-by-night operators, then it will become a problem. So therefore, this having a mechanism for them as an informal SRO, like today you have that blockchain crypto kind of a council, they have made it. So maybe, that can be given the status to encourage people to register with them and to see that they follow common KYC norms, they follow these fair practices, and they declare the investments made because it is related to the PAN number. The moment you do the KYC, then you can have a mechanism of having an insight into it. So all that will be clear. Similarly, what taxation you are going to do on these exchanges is also equally important, right? So whether their income or the transaction cannot be taxed, their net income is to be taxed. So how that taxation will be? Do we put it as a goods or service for GST?
So you believe 30% tax rate probably is a bit high? Okay, you believe 30% tax rate is a bit high, and it will discourage people.
I put it this way.
And you made some other very important points.
Yeah, I fail to understand what is the logic of this 30% figure, right? Because it is not on par with the stocks.
Okay.
If I could come in there and
Mr. Shetty.
Yeah, Mr. Ajay, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, Ajay Rotti wants to respond first. Yes.
Yeah, so, the way I look at it is, at this point, it is unregulated. And that's the reason they may want to be taxing it at 30. And my thinking is that because the 30 is not a higher than, today, if you take lottery winnings and few other things in the Income Tax Act, it's taxable at higher than the highest rate, which is 30%, is taxable at 40%. I think they have taxed it at 30, which is the highest normal income tax rate. So it's not a penal rate in that sense. It is the highest rate. And I think it is higher than other asset classes, which are at 20% for long-term capital gains. So they've taxed it at 30. In my view, the logic is that it is unregulated at this point. And I would agree with Ms. Sharma that once the regulations come in and once it's regulated, maybe they'll taper the tax down and bring it on par with other asset classes. The way I look at it is, at this point, maybe the fact that it is unregulated requires that higher premium.
Okay, Nischal Shetty, your view on the 30% tax rate?
Look, I think as an industry, we've gone from our worst case being a ban to our worst case being 30% income tax. And and I would say, it's a great worst case right now. And from here, as the industry grows, I'm sure the tax
as long as the government is not
lower.
banning it, you don't mind really paying some income tax. So as long as the government is not banning it, you don't really mind paying some as income tax, what you're earning from crypto assets.
Yeah, at least, till the government gets a better understanding of the technology and the importance of, pushing for this technology on a larger scale in India. It's still nascent. I think it's okay, some give and take out here, but there's so much of clarity now that, it's going to help the sector grow tremendously. And everyone in the sector is going to sleep peacefully tonight. I'm sure about that. So I think it's a welcome move.
I have just one point
Okay,
to make here.
Ajit Khurana.
Just one point. One
Okay,
quick
Miss
point.
Aruna wants to respond first.
Yeah. One quick
Yes.
point I want to make here. The ticket size in India is 5,000 to 50,000. Now, are you going to tax them 30%? That is my worry. India, it's not Tesla which has invested in crypto in India, as it is happening across the globe, right? We don't have that kind of investors yet coming to crypto. It is the small investors. And therefore, my worry is this 30%, because they are into quick transaction. They buy, sell like they do on shares. And this kind of a taxation is going to hit them very badly.
Okay, Ajeet Khurana, your comments on the tax rate and the concerns that have been raised, especially about the ticket size that we have in the crypto world?
I think that instead of now viewing it as tax rate, as if there is one Indian uniform, let us look at the classes. There are several people whose total income is lower than even taxable, as in they are paying zero. Then there are slabs, and then you reach 30%. So for people who are anywhere at the 30% level, nothing happened. As in they were paying 30. In any case, now they are paying 30. If we ignore the fact that it could be classified as capital gain. If it's business income, frankly, it was 30 before, 30 now. So the ones who will really be hit are the ones which are at the lower end of the segment. If the government has used some cunning strategy which we didn't understand to prevent them from investing in crypto, I don't think so. But I'm saying that barring that, it is correct that why should the concept of taxation, which is known as, we use progressive taxation, that as you earn more, you pay even a higher percentage, when it holds in absolutely everything else, why should this be different? And why should here, the lower segment, who should be paying 0, 5, 10, 15, 20% tax, why should they be equated to somebody who is earning much higher tax? This logic is correct, but I also, so that I agree with Aruna ma'am, but I also agree with Nischal. He's saying, listen guys, they were going to shoot me in the head. Now they're just slapping me on the wrist. So I'm not going to debate that slap on the wrist too much. I will talk about it tomorrow when the right platform comes. So that also is true. Concerns are all very valid. And I think this program has been phenomenal in raising right concerns. But if I go back to 30,000 feet as more or less my conclusive comment, I think that today we are happier than we were yesterday. The fact that some things have become clearer have also exposed our unhappiness, not created new unhappiness. And now that those points have come up, we have raised specific issues, we will address them over time, hopefully sooner than later.
Dr. Aruna Sharma, the industry seems a little satisfied, a little happy tonight, because at least they feel that the government is not looking to ban it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have really imposed a 30% tax. In your opinion, is that the right analysis? Should we now believe that banning of crypto is something that the government will not consider, or that's out of the question?
I think settled this very clearly when they brought in the clause of proportionality and the understanding that crypto is a way of blockchain investment across the globe. So this understanding, the government, like in the finance minister within the last parliament session, I think clarified this considerably, right? So the industry today, it is more like a stamping of it that yes, you will be treated with a separate regulation and digital currency will be distinct from you, but yes, you will be regulated. So that message is loud and clear. And the taxation of this exchanges, there is a little clarity on it, but the hit has been taken by the investors, right? And especially the kind of investors that are coming is with the low interest rate of the banks. And, they have gone, it's the students, it is the women. What amazed me is the women. The self-help group of women have gone in a big way for the crypto investments. This is a category which has gone in surprisingly. And when I went more depth into it, I found that they used to have this hundi kind of a thing, So that hundi, they became digital. So they are fine with the speculation and speculative putting money, which multiplies or which things and everything. So it was good in their psyche. It may not be in mine, but it was quite there in them. For them to get this hit without, and many of them are not even a taxation slab. It is an investment alternative, right? So focus should come to bring in this regulation much quicker than this heavy taxation, right? That should be the focus. That is very, very important. And forcing them which I think the crypto, the industry has understood. And I think on their own now they have made KYC mandatory. That is what I understand. So which is a very good sign.
Yes.
Plus, they must come up with these small irritants are still there, that they should settle them by the time this formulation comes of the regulator, because that will go a long way. That will go a long way. And my fear is the exchanges outside should not start doing the business with the Indian investments, because today at least the investment is in India. Tomorrow it will go outside the India, क्योंकि वो शेर ने खून चख लिया है, उसने क्रिप्टो का एडवांटेज देख लिया है. So you have these youngsters, quite a way on crypto. In a big way, they have gone for crypto.
Okay. I want to give you the last word, Advocate Prashant Mali. Do you think the government, as it was struggling to earn more revenues, it has seen this as an opportunity to earn revenue, and hence this was the best thing that it could come out with, even though it's still, taking its own time to figure out whether and how to go ahead as far as the crypto market in India is concerned?
By looking at intentions of government, you can see that this was a clear intention of earning revenue for government. Now, this is one thought which I suppose government was clearly addressing, that what happens to investors or what happens to industry. Right now, we are not bothered, but we are bothered about the tax kitty we are going to earn. So that was the clear intention of the government by scoring that brownie. Like, even if the opposition was telling them what is happening about regulation, they can say that we are governing our kitty and getting the money in our kitty. So we can use it for better purposes in governance of India. So that is the intention, and that is what was mentioned by Honorable Finance Minister. But as I kept saying, the future is better, and future could be better if the law is enacted and the regulations are made, and a regulator is appointed to look after all this, instead of talking loosely in budget speech.
All right. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now this evening and helping us understand the intention behind actually imposing a tax of about 30% on what you are earning from crypto transactions. If you're making money, then government also intends to earn some revenue from it. But we'll have to see what eventually happens as far as the crypto world in India is concerned, how soon we see regulation coming in this particular regard. Thank you very much, all of you, for the moment, for joining us on Mirror Now this evening. We have to slip into a very, very short break. On the other side, R.K. Singh, a Union Power Minister, joins us. Stay with us.